Okay. I really hope that I'm not looking fuzzy. It's good. Fantastic. We'll wait and give some folks some time to just roll on in and we can settle ourselves from all of the fun before we went live.
Sure.
And I didn't get a chance to ask you some questions I wanted to ask you before we went live. So I'll have to ask you during the course of the show.
Wonderful.
Josh, hello. Joshua Todd says, hey, y'all.
Hi, Josh.
Oh, how perfect is that?
That's so cool.
And you have to let me know if it gets, a little tricky. For those of you that are coming in, we welcome you. We really do. I really hope that your Thursday is going well. And Lauren, let me ask you this as we're getting ready, because I know that you just came from several appointments. How are you? Hi, Brittany.
This is how I feel. I'm great. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm tired, but I often have to keep moving when I'm tired, so I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh my gosh. Tell me about it. I know it makes you almost feel old. We didn't think we'd get this old and say, I don't look like what I've been through. I
For
guess
real.
we don't look like today.
Seriously. And you know what? I really think I understand daylight savings every year, but it's something about this year. I think
Mm,
because compared with the pandemic,
mm-hmm.
that at almost habitually around 4 or 5:30, I'm going, "Oh, what time is it? It's
Mm-hmm.
late, isn't it?" And it's only
Mm-hmm.
4:30 or 5:30. So,
Yes, yes. It's pretty confusing because yesterday I was driving. I said, it's 4:30 and I want to cry because it's like I want to go to bed, but I know that there's no way that I can go to bed. Tyron, we are not old. Thank you, sir.
wow,
He would.
wow.
He would. Oh, hi, Nicole. Thank you for those of you that are joining us.
Hi,
Let
oh,
me
hi.
tell you all something. I did go live on Facebook, something that I like not, I never do, to try to encourage people to come over to YouTube and join us. For those of you that have joined the show, please, if you can, share the stream on your page. And Lauren, we're going to get right into it now. Let me ask you this. You
Okay.
told me over the weekend at the event the name of your beads because I want to make sure we talk about it. So am I making this up? There are beads.
Yes, that's
That
it.
I'm so happy I remember.
That's it. And so, mind you, now you just reminded me because I wanted in a perfect world to have everything by me.
Mm,
However,
hmm.
I literally left a meeting to get here on time. So I
Yes,
have it and I might have to step away to grab them. But
that's
just so
fine.
you know, that's a heads up. Do you want me to
That's
go do that now before we start?
yes. Well, yeah. Before we start. Go ahead and get it going.
Okay.
Okay. Lauren will be right back, you all. She needs to go and get part of her product that she will be showcasing tonight on the show. So, for those of you that has joined us, if you have not done so already, please like, follow, and share Women's Champ on Instagram as well as on Facebook. And please follow Relationship Entertainment Television on YouTube. Relationship Entertainment Television, RETV. You can follow, they have their own website as well. And while we're waiting, I need to go ahead and put that up so that you all can follow this wonderful, wonderful social media um, outlet. And this is a great place for us, as the owner of RETV says, to inspire, educate, as well as entertain. And we want to be able to keep doing that. So if you have not already liked their YouTube page, please do so now. Let me make sure I put that at the bottom. Okay. So good. So this is perfect. Like this gives us a chance to kind of like settle down as well. Nicole says she's wearing her therapies today. The lavender oil has helped her, help calm her
Thank
today.
you.
Hi,
That's good to
Mariah.
hear.
Oh, good. So Lauren, you want to go ahead and get into that? You want to tell us about let's start with therapies first. How did you even get involved with that? Where did that come from for you?
Um, I kid you not. Sometimes ideas just come to me since I am a believer in God. I know
Okay.
that Him who has given it to me.
Uh-huh.
But I very much so believe in aromatherapy
Okay.
and essential oils and how well they can work for various things.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I am a jewelry girl, like bracelets, earrings, all day. Like I
Yeah.
love accessories.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I can make something cute and functional.
Mm.
So I thought about lava beads, um, which are porous beads,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like holes in them. Um, and I was like, oh, I can make a bracelet and just put my aromatherapy um, scents, like whatever I use, because I am also a wonderful consumer of big businesses who sell aromatherapy lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, instead of spending all my money or waiting on annual sales or whatever the case, I can
Mm-hmm.
do my own thing.
Wow.
So I started the bracelets, and literally as I was making it, I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh, these should be called therabeads." And therapy, aromatherapy,
Mm-hmm.
um, and beads. So I'll show you
Of
what that
course.
looks like.
Okay.
So here's an example.
Okay. I like those.
Me too. It's so funky. I like
Mm-hmm.
the design on it,
Yes.
but the I'm going the opposite way. This is
Okay.
the lava.
Okay.
So
Okay.
on many of them, and it's a little bit rougher for those who've never um, saw them or know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But the porous, the holes in them,
Mm-hmm.
if you can see it, is you put the oil on directly on the bead,
Okay.
and it'll last for a few days,
Okay.
and you can carry your aromatherapy scent with you.
Wow.
Um, so lavender, if you're into being calm or you
Yes.
want to promote stress relief.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for lemongrass and orange scents, things that are good for focus. Whatever it is you may need for that day or days,
Mm-hmm.
um, that is the thought behind it, something you can wear. Besides those, all of them do not have lava beads. Some
Mm-hmm.
may have a charm with a nice saying on it. So, like
Okay.
this, I am going to
What does
look.
that say? What does that one say? I can't.
This one says, do all things with love, because
Mm.
sometimes we need a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
have a red one that says, the charm is be the light.
Lauren, as you're
Um,
talking, I'm sorry, 1 second. I almost hate
sure.
that Tyron and I were thinking along the same lines, but his question is, do you make them for men too? But I was going to ask you, do you make those for men?
Why, yes, I do, Tyron, because how I figure these beads can be for whomever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, when it comes to charms, I just assumed that men may not want a charm, which is fine. So I
So for the
have a
men
lot
that
of,
are watching, hold on, the men that are watching, let us know if you will want a charm.
you can,
Because
yes,
I don't
right?
know, all bracelets are created equal.
Listen, because let me tell you, my 14-year-old cousin, no, I'm so sorry. He's 16 now. Sorry, Joe. My
Uh-huh.
16-year-old cousin saw ones that looked like this, the first one,
Okay.
and similar to this, and he got one that was similar to this.
Okay.
And he had um, a black one. I had an all black one as well. So I
Okay.
absolutely do make, these are glass beads. So I do
Mm,
make some with
I
glass
like
beads.
that. Yes.
and lava for men.
Okay.
And I also have some wood ones that may have lava beads for men if they like that. I also have beads for children. And so I have really tiny ones
Oh, okay.
because I didn't want to leave anyone out. And so I
Mm-hmm.
kid you not, they are all created equal,
Okay.
no matter what you like. Um, it is, I live in a zone of no judgment. So
Yes.
I made it with healing and working and doing something for wellness in mind.
Yes.
So whatever you see that you like, please feel free um, to purchase it. That's what it's behind. And some, I kid you not, have no lava beads, but they were
Okay.
therapy for me to make.
Okay.
So like this one, you can layer with
That's
a
you
different,
all day long.
isn't
That
it?
it is so you. But it's beautiful. You know what? Here's the thing with that. I know tonight we weren't necessarily focusing on Lauren the therapist because we want to push your product, but your product is a product of you being a therapist,
I
right?
know.
Because when you talk about like healing and wellness, that's for men and women. Because
It's
oftentimes we just focus on women being well, but we need our men to be well also.
we need them to be well often. We need
Mm,
them to be well fully. We need them to be okay with saying, I'm not okay right now.
yeah.
Because, and I won't go too far down this line, but I need you to be well because if I'm supposed to follow you and I'm supposed to let you lead me,
Mm,
I need you to be good. And not
right.
just pretending you're good, but actually good.
Actually be
So,
good.
um, and there are things that I am going to, as my company grows,
Mm-hmm.
because comprehensive wellness is my therapy
Mm-hmm.
lane.
Mm-hmm.
And this is underneath, and this is called peak. And
Mm,
so, to pique interest, to provoke action, that's where that name came from.
mm.
So, my line of peak is motivational therapy or wearable therapy,
Oh, wow.
motivation in different forms. So,
Okay.
yes, shirts, different things that I will come out absolutely have men in mind, and some
Mm,
of it is strictly for men
okay.
because as I try to keep them separate,
Mm,
I don't work like that. So
yeah.
it always blends and it always goes back to wellness and
Wow.
what
Can I
can you do
let me
to
ask
promote
you this. If they wanted to purchase it, because we were so pressed for time before we went on. I just wanted to make sure that are they able to go to livewellmilwaukee at gmail.com and purchase it there? Okay, so I'm going to make sure I show that so
that?
that, and I'm going to show it at the bottom. So for those of you that are watching that would like to purchase any of Lauren's products, and please follow her on Facebook, follow her on Instagram. I like to refer to Lauren as our neighborhood therapist, like you are the therapist for the Women's Champ Show. Okay. And also, you'll see her website there as well. Push, push this narrative that, we got to get away from the narrative of, we don't need to talk. And we really, really do, because you can even tell in the way that people drive that their minds are really somewhere else. And I
For
saw
sure.
that driving around the city of Milwaukee today with all of these accidents and so many people cruising through red lights. So that lets
Hmm.
you know that people clearly aren't well.
Yeah.
And it's not a good look that we don't celebrate that enough to push us being okay. And
Hmm.
that is disturbing. So,
Agreed. And even I'm almost so tired of hearing the word pandemic, but I have to use it. But the fact that
excuse me,
we are
y'all.
in a pandemic right now and we are so confined
Yes.
in many ways, I think we've taken for granted just what fresh air does for our body,
Mm,
for our
mm,
minds, and we've taken for
mm-hmm.
granted what the sun does because it's
Yes.
getting dark at 1:45 p.m. So it's like we are, now that those things have been taken and we have to adjust, whatever methods that we can find to bring us wellness. And here's a fun fact: you have to create it because it will not
Yeah.
come to you.
Wow.
So whatever it is that promotes wellness for you, I'm so sorry, that promotes healthy wellness for you, because we can take that and run with it too.
Sure
So whatever
can.
promotes healthy wellness, take it and run with it. We're in the house. You're stuck in the house. If you need something to help stress relief, why not have it on the bracelet? You can do this, have a lovely time, and no one has to know what's happening.
I think, unfortunately, that's not something that, this is another conversation, that our society pushes. We don't push preventative care.
Well, why would we, Latoya? Because then the pharmaceutical companies would lose out. But I'm not going to go there. That's not really what we're here for. But why would we?
Right. And so it's just like, if we did that, like, how much more calm we would be, how sharper would be in our minds, as far as making decisions. Because that the truth of the matter is, and I titled your series or your show Mom on the Move, because you are a single mother that is on the move. You help so many people. And I'm not just saying this because I know you personally, but we both know what we were doing before we jumped on this call, and oftentimes mothers, especially, we don't know how to find that balance. Like you said, some people, Lauren, like you said, create healthy wellness. Some people don't know how to do that. They really need to be told. Like, if you ask them a simple question, they can't answer it because their mind is pulled in so many different directions. And it's like, how do you calm yourself? And like you said, we forget about the sun. We need that. Yeah. We need that vitamin D. Even just stepping outside, if you just did something different, step outside for 5 minutes. Thank God it has not been that cold. Like, even today, it was a perfect day to get out and go for a walk, and you'd be surprised what it will do for your mind. So not only do you have the therapies, but you are also selling your shirts. Yes. And I really want you to talk about the inspiration behind what you're wearing. Yes. I love it. I have it in black. Keep living. Talk about keep living.
So keep living, the phrase was often said by our grandfather, all the time. So I always heard him saying, and it was usually used when somebody knew the answer and they knew too much, and he would just go, keep living. Yep. And what happened is, the older that I got, I realized that he was right, and that some of the answers to things that maybe I was uncertain of or confused about, or maybe didn't see how it would work out, as life progressed, the answer was given to me. But as far as with peak and comprehensive wellness, and now where I am in my life now, keep living is used for encouragement for clients who literally wanted to take their lives and needed a reminder to keep living. But for people who said, like, things may be tough right now, but keep going. That's really the bottom line of what that means and what it promotes. Keep going. Because when we want to stop, if we keep pushing through our storms that we're currently in, on the other side, it's always something beautiful. And you won't see it. Like, you won't see it, especially while you're in it. But as long as you keep going, you will get an answer. And sometimes it may not be the answer you want. It may not be the expectations that you kind of figured out for yourself. Yeah. But if you keep going, you will get an answer.
That's a question that I wanted to ask you. because I know, again, because I know you outside of here. And even if
Mhm.
I didn't, it's life. You know, we are all dealing with something. I remember a preacher put it this way: you're either in a storm, on your way out of one, or you're headed to one.
Mhm.
So there's always this circle of it where, okay, I've gotten over this, but now this is taking place. And so how do I, handle all of that and keep living, and, the therapies and reminding ourselves to be well
Mhm.
goes hand in hand, because my question is, how do you keep going? What keeps you going?
Personally, what keeps me going is knowing that laying down and letting life just have its toll is not really on my schedule. It's not on my list of things to do. And I put that,
Yes.
I say it that way because, and it's often coincidental
Mm,
that I'm on Women's Champ because I literally see my life as a fight. And that's what
mm,
it's been. And so,
mm,
how things have happened for me personally, I'm smooth, things are cool. Then,
mm-hmm.
when I tell you, it's like a three-piece combo.
Yep.
Everything's back to back to
Mm-hmm.
back,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where I get knocked down and you get up, and before you can get up good, I'm hit with something else.
Yes.
And so, how I keep living, a few ways. A,
Okay.
my faith in God is keeping me living and
Okay.
renewing me every day to have the strength to even just not dwell on the day before, to be honest.
Yes.
Because if I do that and I have to intentionally let it go. And I keep using these because we like certain cliches, girl, let that go. But if I do not know how,
Yeah.
that sounds nice,
Yes, it does. Yes, it
but it's
does.
not a blueprint on what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, okay, that happened. Great. Is it mine to
Mm-hmm.
carry? If not, I'm not picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
If it is, how are we going to tackle it? And
Mm.
what's keeping me living is not looking at everything in a grand scheme, but
Mm.
breaking it down and going, in this moment, I'm going to tackle this. What do I need to do to get that done? And if it's nothing, or if there's nothing I can do in that moment, we're going to put that back there and
Mm-hmm.
tackle what I can do to lessen the load.
So we need to create a to-do list. Do you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like, not like a mental to-do list.
I just told before I came here, I was speaking to parents of high schoolers who
Okay.
wanted stress management
Mm-hmm.
tips.
Mm-hmm.
And what I literally told them was just that. And I said, just how we have to figure out what's important
Mm-hmm.
and triage what's the most pressing matter right now, what bill has to get paid at this moment. The
Right.
same skills that we use in our daily lives, we have
Mm-hmm.
to use them for ourselves. What problem absolutely has to be tackled right now?
Wow.
And before that, is it a problem I should be addressing? Because is it actually my problem, or is it something that I feel strongly about, but it's somebody else's? Because if
Yes.
that's the case, leave it where it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we
I
become so
yeah.
overwhelmed by things that we don't necessarily have to. Then you got to
Mm-hmm.
get reminded to be keep living or to keep living over something that's not even yours.
Mm-hmm. And not just say them, because we can say words and not put any action behind it.
We do that a lot. I think
Mm-hmm.
society promotes us to say what sounds good.
Oh yeah.
Let's keep the cliches going so we can
Mm-hmm.
keep people distracted from the fact that we're not following through and that we don't
Right.
really believe what we're saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because I could say keep living.
Sounds nice.
That sounds great. Keep
I
living.
appreciate your business, but I need you to actually do it.
But do it because it will show in the way in which we are living,
Mm-hmm.
not merely existing. And there's a big difference with that. People think because yeah, you're alive, but you aren't living.
Totally different.
And I
And you do
think,
not have
yeah,
to wait till a big payday to live. You do not
yeah,
have to wait until everything is lined up or looks a certain way to live.
mhm,
It is
mhm,
very small, purposeful steps that you have to take. And the first thing is
mhm.
just deciding that you're going to do it and following through.
I'm going to tell you this because it's going to go back to what you said about letting go. I
Hmm.
found that out for myself this year that letting go for me was a decision. I just
Hmm.
decided I'm going to let
Hmm.
go. And that was it because I didn't know what letting go smelled like, what it
Yeah.
looked like. What does this feel like? I made a decision and it like that it was done. So like you said, those small purposeful steps, but it goes back to planning. We need to plan this out. Like, I love your shirt. It's a strong message because, Lauren, I believe there's so many people aren't living it. And that's why I'm very passionate about supporting, especially
Hmm.
women, because I'm a women's champ,
Yes.
supporting women in particular when their business endeavors, because no matter what we do it, whether it's, like I had Rebecca on last week, with
Hmm.
Color Street. And, to her, she didn't think it was such a big deal. But I said, no, Becca, that's a huge deal because that's reminding some mothers, some women, to do something nice for themselves. Some of us need something like that's a small step, right? For me, and I shared this last week. When I got my nails done, that was something that I set aside to do for Toya because I
Hmm.
was giving of myself so much, being a mom of five children, a wife at that time. So I needed
Yeah.
something. I needed to see something that was like, okay, you're doing this for you. And that's a small step. And again, we assume that people know that, and others just do not. We have to be told to live, to treat ourselves nice.
You want to know why? Because we're often told that that's being selfish, and selfish typically has a negative connotation.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, it's completely different. I have to have selfish acts. I am
Mm-hmm.
not a selfish person, but I have to take selfish acts and go, let me do something for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not if somebody else is going to like it, because that's usually how selfish people roll.
Mm-hmm.
Selfish people grind my gears. When I have to take selfish acts, I understand it because so often we do not, because we're told, oh, you're being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we're usually told that by people who are benefiting from us not being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
putting all of that into perspective. But I think, and I don't know if Becca is watching, but when I watch that, that's awesome because it is a reminder to do something for yourself and it's
Yes.
economical. So you
Yes.
really feel really good about purchasing Color Street
You're saving
because
money.
you're saving money and you're
Yes.
still beautifying yourself. You're still taking
Yes.
time. And even just
Mhm.
that time of concentration of
Mhm.
putting it on your nail can be good for you to focus on something else outside of what you typically focus on.
Wow.
So I think it's great.
That is so fantastic. Let me ask you this because as I think about, our grandfather saying, keep living, I think I thought a bit as I was getting ready to log on for the show, how I should just be running my mouth as a kid. And I
Hmm.
remember how quiet he would be,
Very.
very quiet. And he just nod his head, keep living.
Hmm.
Because, I was big on, I'm never going to do this. Never going to do that. And when I get 16 and when I get such and such age, this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
What is it? Let me see. This was a question I wanted to ask you. What did you think that you knew that you found out that you didn't really know?
How much time do we have?
Mm-hmm.
A few things. One thing that I thought I knew was that people would behave the way I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that others had the same heart as me.
Mm-hmm.
And some things I would just, so and so would never. are you kidding? No,
Mm-hmm.
like it was some things that I would almost bet money on, and I'm not a gambler,
Mm-hmm.
that people wouldn't move the way they ended up moving.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in that regard, what I also thought was I thought I knew I was strong, but I ended up finding out how strong I actually was.
Wow.
And that didn't happen until people moved a certain way and I had to counter a certain way.
Mm.
And things that
Mm-hmm.
I thought would be so devastating and
Mm-hmm.
take me out, like I kid you not, you know, but the natural to the untrained eye, they wouldn't necessarily know. But
Right.
it's like some of the things that I've experienced that would take people out. And I personally know, like, I've worked with people that have been completely taken out by some experiences that are
Mm-hmm.
similar or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes not even as severe as what
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt with,
Yes.
and learning that no, you can go through it
Mm.
and you can be better for it.
Mm.
And that things are a lot of things we have more power than we believe. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a choice. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to choose not to lay down and die,
You're not
essentially.
gonna fold. You're not
And
going to fold. You're not
for
you're not gonna lay knocked out, from the combo.
the three-piece combo,
The
okay?
three-piece combo. You're going to keep going. And I love that you said that, Lauren. You thought you were strong, but you were stronger. You are stronger. And I remember someone saying that to me. And usually if someone says that to you in that moment, you don't really think that that's the truth. Because I had someone tell me, well, what I felt like was one of the weakest moments of my life. He said,
Mhm.
"You're stronger than you think you are, than you
Mhm.
think you are,"
Mhm.
and it even goes back to our thinking. I always think often about this creed that we had at my former school, and I never forgot the first line. It was really
Mhm.
long, but every morning we would say, "Today is a new day."
Mhm.
And every now and then I have to go back to that, which I was teaching those K-5 students, that today is a new day.
Mhm.
Time keeps going. That is something that I believe wholeheartedly in. It does not stop.
Yeah. And for some people, if we have to say today is a new hour or a new minute, whatever it is that's going to keep us, because depending on where we are, a day
Hmm.
may seem like an eternity.
Yes.
So say whatever it is that needs to be said to keep you afloat.
Hmm. Hmm. That's something. And for us to even start training the children, like, don't wait until you are 18 years old. That's something I was stressed with the children I worked with at the church. Don't wait until you're 18.
Mm-hmm.
Start now, because you all will be further than us. Who some of
Absolutely.
us in our 30s and 40s are just now getting some things. And here's the thing, that's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we found out is as we kept living,
Yep.
we did not have all the answers.
Absolutely.
We thought we knew. And I was thinking of the Johari window.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, one of my favorites, how you have, your open self, your blind self, your your hidden self. But most importantly, what I realized with keep living is your unknown self.
Mm-hmm.
There are just things about us that we don't know. We could play the game worst case scenario and it's like, okay, well, if this happened, this is what I would do. And you really don't know how you will truly respond to certain situations until it happens.
Mm-hmm. And that is a fact because if I think of different studies that are out of, they'll stage like an emergency,
Mm-hmm.
right? And something is happening, and they'll go back and ask the people, so the guy who just robbed this place, what did he look like? And you will have the same people who they did a pre-interview with who were saying, I don't understand how people can identify an assailant, right? And you'll have all of a sudden at the end of it, they'll be saying, like, I don't know, because their body went into shock, right?
Mm,
So they thought they would be able to operate in emergencies like a certain way. But then when push came to shove, they completely alienated all that they thought and knew. But that's what life does to us. It's really nice to think of what you would do,
mm,
how things should go. And there's a danger in that because you put more pressure on yourself and you don't allow yourself to be human in a lot of regards. Because many of us have never pictured something and it was negative. It's usually like, nope, everything will work together. This is how it will be.
yep.
No question. This is how it'll be. And it's
Mm,
like when anything happens that it's a little bit different, we
uh-huh.
completely fold and lose it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
our mind can wrap itself around the idea that it didn't happen.
That I think a lot of that too is control.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we want to control everything. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, we have been thrown, and I know you know this, many curveballs in life.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the unknown self. You don't know how you're going to respond.
Mm-mm.
And there's so many other things that play a role in that trauma, past
Sure.
experiences. We assume. And so I think that definitely with your products, which for those of you that are watching, it's at the bottom, the ticker is going, please follow Lauren. You can reach out to her as well if you need someone to talk to. She takes private clients, she takes insurance. So call her if someone that you know need, again, we need to push this, especially in our community, for people to talk. And sometimes we do need those of you that have gone to school, Lauren, and have studied, a lot of these different behaviors. Because some of us can only go so far. And
Sure.
sometimes it can be really hard to even talk to the people that you live with. I
Mm-hmm.
realize that as a mother, that there are just some things my children may not share with me. And I had to really let them know that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be me that you feel comfortable talking to, but I have also pushed, this is my narrative as well. Like there are too many people that are close to us that care about your well-being for you not have
Absolutely.
anyone to go to. Because also too, as their mom, parents, we want to be everything, especially mothers. We want to be everything for our children. But again, that's putting too much pressure on you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Mm-hmm.
find that balance of I can't be everything. So for those of you that are watching, please, if you know somebody or if it's you, you need someone to talk to, you can reach out to Lauren. Her number is at the bottom. Her wonderful products for those of you that just may be tuning in. Keep living. I love that because what a reminder it is that our time is limited,
Yeah.
you know, on this earth, and that we need to. I'm big on figure out what your purpose is
Mm-hmm.
and go after that with a vengeance. Because again, one of the big things is, people want to know their why, what gets
Mm-hmm.
you out of bed, what keeps you going, what's your drive
Yeah.
for you to keep living and not just exist.
Because there is a huge difference. And
Hmm.
if you don't know that, there are ways that you can find out. There are people that you can talk to who can walk you through that
Hmm.
because we all have a purpose. And again, it
Hmm.
may not look like what you're used to. It may not look like your sisters or your moms or people have placed this on you. Oh, I knew since you were a little girl, you were going to be a scholar and become a doctor and all this stuff. You've always done so well in this lane that may not be tied to your purpose. And you have to be open to figuring out and finding out what that is and going in that direction.
I always quote either a movie or a song.
Hmm.
So as you were saying that, I thought about the movie Center Stage and how the young lady was a phenomenal dancer and her mom was just pushing her and pushing her and pushing her. And she decided like the last scene that she was not going to go out on stage. And her mother just couldn't understand it. Like she was flabbergasted.
Mm-hmm.
Something that she said to her mom that really like stuck out to me. I never forgot that line. She said, "Mom, I have the feet for dancing, but you have the heart."
Wow.
Some of us, we have the skill, but we don't have the heart, the passion for it. I just believe that we need to go after that which we are passionate about.
Yes, and be open. So with that, you just said dancing. Maybe she should be a choreographer.
Mm,
Maybe she should be a consultant for a dance company. There
hmm
are other options that can be tied to something that we're interested or skillful at,
hmm
and it just needs to be tweaked. Or I always think of a Rubik's Cube and just
mm,
twist it a little bit to get to where our heart will be. So
mm.
we can't limit ourselves, which we do so often.
Yes,
Sometimes on purpose, out of fear,
yes,
some out of ignorance because we don't know what's all out there, so we just assume there's nothing.
yep.
But whatever it is, we have to be open to that, to keeping that our options open.
hmm And what helps again, I'm always go back to this, is talking, having the
Mhm,
right conversations with the right people. Because
mhm,
when you do that, some people like to stay with a certain group of people, and it's like you're going to have to keep having the same regurgitated conversation.
mhm.
Expand the people that you're chatting with, because you never know where you can get that piece, that one nugget to help you get to where you need to be. Like you said, some people, were great at basketball. Everybody's not going to the NBA,
Yeah,
but
somebody has to coach.
somebody has to come.
Mhm.
you know, we
And
need.
yeah, I'm sorry. It is expanding our circles
Mhm.
and our physical surroundings have to change. How
Mm.
many chicken and waffles can we eat at brunch? Aren't we done? Can't we go somewhere else?
I'm sorry.
But no, seriously, can't we go somewhere
Yes,
else
yes.
besides sitting and eating all the time? Unless we are, again, being strategic
hmm
and everybody's throwing something on the table and we're giving that person feedback. That's different. But it's
Right.
like, yes, we need to relax, but we've taken enough pictures with enough hashtags, girls' night. We've done that. What else can we do? Could you stop?
Sorry.
But we've done that.
Yeah.
What else are we going to do that is purposeful and getting
Mhm.
us closer? Because once we're done with the unlimited mimosas, where are we in our lives?
Going
And if
home
and in the same spot.
and waiting for the next third Saturday to roll around.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya and Brittany are laughing. I'm not the only one laughing, Lauren. That's pretty
Oh,
hilarious.
good
And look,
grief.
I love mimosas. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh, me
again,
too.
like you said, it should be purposeful, because I could see if we were meeting every third Saturday, and of course we have that, but we're also checking each other as far as, okay, so where are you in your planning? So Lauren,
Yep.
you said, you want to come out with some more bracelets, a different line of this, or now you want to do some glasses or something. Where are you in that process?
Mm-hmm.
Not only am I feeding, you know, my belly, which I love to do. I love great food.
Yeah.
So do you.
Yes.
All day long. But at the same token, it's just like I want to feed my purpose.
Yep. Because that's what sustains us.
Yes.
Like food and things of that nature. Of course, you need it to live for all of my thinkers and literal people. Yes, you need
Sure.
that. It sustains you. But
Mm-hmm.
it's only designed to give you fuel for a certain amount of time. That's why we have to keep doing it.
Mm.
But when you are
Mm-hmm.
sustained by your purpose, that's what
Mm-hmm.
goes for generations. That's what builds generational wealth and freedom, which is a whole different level of wellness that
Mm.
a lot of us want, but won't do the work to get.
And some of us don't know how. It goes back to what you said
Ab-
earlier. Like a number of people, some of us, we are ignorant to that. But
Can I tell you how?
yes,
Because
please.
We were not given that. And I'm not going to get on a soapbox,
Yes.
but we were not given the tools that others were given in this country to
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, you were just born. Here is a whole blueprint, a financial blueprint of how your
Right.
life can go and the freedom that you can have so you can figure it out. Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
want to juggle and be a clown on the street? You have enough money where that doesn't matter. We were not given that. We were
Right.
not given the importance of saving and investing. That's a wave now that a lot of us are riding and becoming aware of. But we weren't given that when we were small children. We weren't given trust funds,
Mm-mm. No.
not in general,
Mm-mm.
right? So
Mm.
we had to acquire and show up late to the party and then take what we could and
Yep.
run with it and still try to build as we're going along.
Yes.
So a lot of people absolutely are ignorant, myself included. There are a lot of things I have no clue of and I wasn't introduced to it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know it exists, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna find it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the take we have to have in a lot of regards because it's just not something that was given to us.
Somebody has a question, Lauren. She wrote, "What if a person desires to live in their purpose and needs to get out their current circle, but they have a hard time trusting?
Mm.
How do you recommend they try to gain the trust from others?"
They have a hard time trusting others.
Mm,
How do you recommend they try to gain the trust from others? I want to follow up because I want to make sure I understand. So
mm,
when I hear they have a hard time trusting, I hear they don't trust people.
mm,
But then when I hear gain trust from others, that's almost reversed for me in my mind. So I just want to make sure if you're talking about not trusting other people and learning to trust other people, start small. And the reason I say that, first you have to trust yourself that you are able to make sound decisions. And a lot of times when we have made decisions that have gone a different way, we
mm,
lose trust in ourselves. Like, was it me? Did I
mm,
miss something? Or I saw this and I thought it was a good idea and I went towards it, but it turned out not to be. So we can question ourselves. So the first thing I would say is to learn to trust yourself. Whatever happened in the past, do not hold it against yourself and do not hold it against someone else.
mm.
Because contrary to popular belief in hashtags and social media posts, there
Mhm.
are people who mean you well.
That's true. She wrote because people are always cliquish. But I think that that's how we are, period. We are going, I think about too, I feel like grandma Sunday school, right? You're going to go with those with like spirit.
Sure.
Like, I'm not
Sure.
going to hang out with people that are negative. That's just not what I do. I like to
Mm-hmm.
hang out with people that are lively,
Mm-hmm.
that don't talk about other people. Like, I don't, my circle of women and like my tight circle of
Yeah.
women, we don't down talk other women.
Yeah.
That's not
And
what
so,
we do. And you have some people that do that. So no, I'm not gonna go over there. And if
yeah.
you bring that over here, you're gonna get checked with this
Yeah.
crew, or you're not gonna come around.
Yeah. And so for somebody who's struggling with that, create your own circle.
Mm.
Bring people in who you know have proven to you that they can be trustworthy.
Sometimes
Because
we don't trust it goes back to we don't trust ourselves.
mhm,
And that can be scary as well. Like I try to trust over here, and somebody just did a 180,
yeah,
like foul. So I think we start to second guess ourselves. We can
mhm,
second guess ourselves with, the people that we surround ourselves with. But this is why I've always been big on being around people that are going to hold you accountable. because sometimes we can miss something, but those that are closest to us, and I mean like for real close to us, can catch something that we are just, we're in the clouds, we're in la la land, and we may completely miss it. And somebody will warn you, say, you probably want to watch out for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had that happen to me where it'd be a
Yep.
no word spoken, but you just knew that look, like, watch out for that one.
And with accountability, it'll also bring to light things within ourselves. So we can have somebody who will go, you're out of order. You're blocking that person. You're blocking that goodness. You're doing like you need people to do that as well because
So you're gonna say that on this call. You're gonna say that on this show tonight.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But
I'm
no,
gonna remember that. This is being recorded, right? I'm gonna remember
but
that.
no, really,
That's true.
we do that. And we think of all like the external. So yes, watch out for that person. But yeah, watch out for yourself because you're not being nice to yourself right now. And I have a friend who politely said, she said, I will check anybody about Lauren, including Lauren.
I love that.
And I went, ugh.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sheena. That's my friend. But it was just like, and when she said that, I said, okay. And I couldn't say anything else because she was like, you're not treating yourself well right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you need people to do that too.
But Lauren, it goes back to, let me put that at the bottom for people. I want everybody to remember to please, follow you and even reach out to you. This is not, in the words of my grandmother, this is not charity. Lauren is an entrepreneur.
Yes.
She must be paid. I know she's a nice lady, but this nice lady has to take care of herself and that lovely young man. And she needs to be able to keep living and not have to, stress about bill. You talk about like you don't want to stress about bills, but when you talk about comprehensive wellness, I love that you said that we can't always make it about how people treat us. It's more of how I treat myself. Because if I treat myself well, I'm not going to allow you to mistreat me.
I won't even consider it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that needs to be there. I really knew that no matter how we tried to kind of steer away from comprehensive wellness, because I asked you, what did you want to focus on? And I'm glad that and again, because that's still under the umbrella of comprehensive wellness, because for me, lavender is very calming. Mm-hmm. Like you said, small, purposeful steps, even if we have to put, a note on our computer, or you have to set an alarm to go off to say, take 5 minutes and concentrate on your breathing. I remember my algebra teacher did that my freshman year in high school, and most kids thought it was strange, but I really appreciated it, where she would have us concentrate on our breathing, like for the first 10 minutes of class. She would do that, and we would take deep breaths and inhaling and holding it and exhaling. And I remember how it was calming me before she would begin the lesson. We have to be reminded to just concentrate on breathing.
First of all, that is amazing that she did that. Mm-hmm. But you're absolutely right. And breathing is for everybody. So including children. My son is 7. He's been knowing how to breathe. I started when he was like 3.
Okay.
And I would say, take a deep breath and hold it, and start short for children and then extend it out, because he needs to know how to reset too. He needs to know when he's overwhelmed and he needs time alone. He comes in, and it's very funny. If outside people were looking, they would probably find it comical, because I could see something was wrong with him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, like, what's going on? And he was just like, can I just have a minute to myself? Wow. And I've taught him to advocate for that. Sometimes you don't want people in your space. And guess what I said? Absolutely. Come find me when you're good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we have to encourage that and take those times for ourselves.
Whenever I talk to you, I always feel as if, my goodness, we could have 40 sub conversations from the one conversation at hand, because that is probably something that we'll talk about and maybe have some gentlemen on, starting young, because if Logan can get this now, think about when he's older, he won't have to necessarily punch a hole in the wall, because now, somebody's so upset. Like we deem that as like that's acceptable. He's a man, he's upset, so he got frustrated. And so we teach that their men's frustration, like their aggressiveness, like that's the way that they show that they're upset. That's how they handle it. And it's just like, no, breathe.
Speak. And I've had him working on that too. And
Yeah.
his teachers told me in K5, he is so good at articulating when he's having an issue and when like what's going on with him. And I said, well, that's a positive for having a mom as a therapist, because I am trying to make sure that he is aware. You can't just say your body is tense. You're either frustrated, you're frightened. Like, let's talk this out. What is it? And I always encourage him. I say, you have to put an emotion to the feeling. And if we don't get, especially men, because girls will talk your ear off.
Yes.
And mom, I feel, we're good at that.
Yes.
But we frown on that with our boys. And it's like, it's a lot easier if we start young for them to get older and be able to do that than somebody who never expressed an emotion verbally, because you're expressing it, but verbally getting you to do it as an adult male, it's a lot more difficult. And then they feel that they cannot, and that's not true.
Right. Because here's the thing, when you think about women, and I'm sure you've heard this, and we've heard this from different women, with their partners, I'm upset because he doesn't seem as if he hears me. But the whole time as he's been groomed, he wasn't trained to hear himself. So how can he hear her? So I know that's a
whole different ball game, right?
That's a completely different conversation. But I know that as our time is beginning to draw near, I just want to encourage everyone that is watching, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to Relationship Entertainment Television. Please follow Lauren at livewellmke@gmail.com. It's right at the bottom. Lauren, I know if you've been watching, you know that I like to always end my show with this question: what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for the wonderful people who have poured their lives and themselves into me in order for me to be inspired, to be encouraged, to keep going. I have seen fantastic examples just in my family alone of people who may have been counted out, or what seemed on the surface wasn't doing things the way they should be done, or they didn't have the skill set to get certain things accomplished. And I saw them do it. And so I'm grateful for that, because it instilled in me not only tenacity, but perseverance, and knowing that if something didn't go right this way, there's always another way that it can get done. And if people don't follow, it'll get done anyway.
I love that. I'm grateful that, even with your busy schedule, that you were so willing to come on.
Of course.
And I'm telling you, this was an awesome conversation, because what I love is that no matter, who I am talking to, there's always a takeaway.
Yeah.
Or two or three. And I'm so appreciative of that, Lauren, that you are so willing to share your gift with the world. And we need that. We need more people like you with a beautiful spirit, and that, that resonates. You can see that, that you care, that you need to go into therapy just to make yourself feel better about your life, hearing other folks' woes, because you got your own going on, right? So I just thank you again for coming on and being willing, yes, to come on and talk about keep living, and reminding us and giving us some great nuggets. Start small. For those of you that are watching, start, we got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We hear slow and steady wins the race. Stay steady.
Yep.
Stay steady. Be mindful. You're saying, keep living, then that's what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
for
so much for
everyone's
having me.
of course, Nicole said, awesome chat, safe night. I just think for those of you that are watching, thank you all for joining us. We so appreciate it. Lauren, just hold tight, okay?
Okay.
And for everybody else, please be safe and be great.